Hello guys, Rookie here, welcome to another ZZZ video. Today I want to discuss something that's been bothering me for quite some time, about the current divide between the ZZZ community, between those who can clear and content easily and play actual other players not to be able to do so, and those who actually are struggling. I think it's more the issue of the game rather than the skill themselves. Now, I actually came up with this idea of a video when I was watching Kate's last video. And actually end up reading some content, and some people were joking around that, yeah, easy for you to defense now to do defense agent only, essentially saying that it was player issue, it was skill issue, the reason why players cannot clear and gain content. And then I saw this comment which actually summarized what the majority of people actually do to actually clear and gain content. They actually use void hunters to clear the game and play whatever else with whatever team they actually wanna play. Which actually shows quite a big issue that this game has, and I think I finally figured out the reason why some people actually struggle to clear certain content. And the reason for that is because ZZ has the worst grinding system ever in a gacha game. Second only to a certain game that I'm not gonna spoke the name of because it is a forbidden one, but yeah. So without further ado, let's actually dive deep into the issue, shall we? But what do I actually mean when I start the reason why people cannot clear and content is because of the grinding issues? Well, simply because ZZ is one of the games that is the absolute most hard to book characters properly. And that is because you need actually batteries for a lot of things. Like, you need to spend batteries for the skills, you need to spend batteries for the W engine, for the disk drives, even the core talents, which I feel like is one of the most mechanics ever implemented in a gacha game. I'm gonna speak on that more later. And also for the levels, so yeah, you need a lot of things, a lot of batteries just to put your characters at level 60, just to make the characters reach level 60. And combine that with the tons of things you have to level up, it's no wonder people cannot actually build the characters properly. Now, the issue that I actually have with the advice of F-coring all your agents is that not everyone needs the F-core the same level some others do. For example, you main DPS, sure. Main DPS actually want the F-core. So does also Nicole, because Nicole you need F-core to actually get the maximum amount of defense shred. But other characters, I mean, look at my Burnice. I was able to clear the game content with Burnice just fine in the past, with just Corey. Same thing with Piper, she only has the so yeah. I was able to clear the deal assault easily with them. In fact, my first deal assault clear was with Burnice and Piper. Mind blowing is also, yeah. Yeah, because I don't think all the, I mean, some do actually need the core F talent, but some others do not. But because everyone actually wastes the stamina on F-core in the talent, the issue is that one, they actually get burned out playing the game because leveling up the core talent is such an asshole, such a boring thing to do that you might wanna do else. You might wanna do everything else. And two, because of that, they actually end up compromising the disk drives. A lot of people actually crap disk drives because they waste so much time and stamina to actually build up the core talents, which at the end of the day means they don't have either enough stamina, or in my case, which is even worse, enough Dennies to actually level up everything else. Like, look at that! Look at fucking that! It's always the fucking same issue. Like, when I actually finish level up the core talent, and I'm actually about to farm from some disk drive, or W engine and everything else, I'm always out of Dennies. Like, I'm actually more broke than Nicole, what the fuck. And that is a big issue. And the big issue is also that because of the HP scaling, the HP increasing that we are getting in both the assault and shield defense, you technically also need to keep farming these guys in order to make some other characters actually keep up the content. The problem is that if you don't play this game every single day of your life, you actually do gonna fall behind, because if you have some other characters that you wanna finish pulling, you're gonna prioritize on those. For example, in my case, very soon. For example, in my case, soon, so yeah. The problem is that when you actually try to bully another characters in order to make them usable, you're actually not gonna farm, you're not actually gonna power up your other characters. You're gonna farm other disguise for your other characters, which means with each cycle of that endgame content gets reset and the HP actually increases, your character is gonna struggle more and more and more. It's a vicious cycle in which either A, you keep farming on these drives and getting new cards just to make them, all the cards keep up to clean endgame content, or B, you actually focus on new cards, which means that your main DPS are gonna struggle to clear endgame content because you haven't farmed enough disc drives for them. Which becomes me double if you are actually unlucky when it comes to actually getting the right substats for your main DPS. Which is why I find it actually moronic to actually advise everyone, and I mean everyone, about F-coding every single card in the game. That is nonsensical, that is impossible thing to do. Not only is gonna make you so much burn out doing that you might wanna stop playing the game entirely, but also by doing that you might actually neglect your disc drives, which means your characters are gonna do nothing in the game content, and are gonna do nothing of damage, and you are gonna have 0 chance to actually clear the game content. But yet we keep morning saying, no! Bullshit, enough is enough. Because the core talent is the most bullshit system ever created in a gacha game. Like, HSR doesn't have that. And the result is that in the game it's actually much easier to build characters over there. Like, I was able to clear for fun, just for fun for the rounds of it. I was able to build the hook. I was able to run May. And I was able to freaking build the Trailblazer, the freaking Trailblazer in my spare time while playing casual that game. Like, I'm actually using physical Trailblazer to clear the game content. I mean, only pure fiction for the main, but yeah, that tells you how freaking crazy it is. That tells you how freaking broken the grinding system in ZZZ is actually. Like, as another example, in freaking field, like, in field you don't really need to spend battery to farm materials to level up your characters, because you can actually farm those things to industries. Sure, you might argue that you actually need to like the industry to actually build to actually easily build characters over there. But if you like the industries, the fact that you can actually get the materials without spending not a single sweat of stamina, that is immense. And you can always use the blueprints to actually get up a preset of industries if you really don't like spending time developing your own industry just to building materials for your card, to create materials for your card. So yeah. So no, guys, we cannot always blame the player for the shortcoming, because it is not a skill issue. It isn't that hard. The hard part isn't to actually clear game content. The hard part is actually building your freaking characters, because it is not possible that you have to spend so much fucking stamina, so much fucking Dennies, just to get the freaking core F. It is not possible. Like, because not only because you need a lot of stamina, because also you need a lot of Dennies, and ZZ gives you nothing in terms of Dennies. You might argue, sure, one Dennies actually playing the other game modes, actually playing you might actually be right about that. The problem is that the ZZ, aside from the core gameplay, is actually boring, because the only thing that are worth doing ZZ is actually endgame content itself. Because the story is nothing special. 2.6 to me was so much disappointing as a... Sure, you might have used the excuse that it's an interlude chapter, but the interlude chapter 1.6 was much better than that. We got an actual crisis back then in 1.6, unlike here, which was basically... basically a celebration at this point, basically a filler episode, so yeah. Another thing, another mods in ZZ actually boring, like... You cannot expect me to actually, in order to farm Dennies, to actually play a freaking cheap copy of Zomania, or whatever the event about the Idols was, because that was trash. The event was actually trash. These events lately have been absolutely trash, and I'm not gonna play those just to farm enough Dennies so I can actually level up my characters. Bullshit, bullshit. I refuse to do that. When other games give you credits and money for actually free, and you can actually easily be able to build characters in those games. Bullshit. So yeah, if you my advice actually is that stop farming stupid core talents. Like, only F-core talents of your cards that are absolutely needed. For example, you main DPS, Shengguan, Miyabi, Nico, etc.
My services are expensive.
I mean, you also main DPS.
Is it time to clock out?
Everyone else just focus on the disk drives and the W engine, because those are what actually matter. Because otherwise you're just gonna end up burnout. If you're gonna burn out, you're gonna get fun playing the game. If you're not gonna have fun to play the game, then why even bother? Why even bother? So yeah. So that's why, guys, if for someone ever tells you that it's your own fault from being able to create game content, you shouldn't just shush. Just point out how shitty the grinding system is, because it is not possible. There's only one game currently, one gacha game currently that has a worse grinding system than ZZZ. And I'm not even gonna say the name of that game, because you guys already know what I'm talking about. The freaking original sinner. The original sinner whose name shall not be mentioned, because that game grinding system is so shit, you actually have to wait days to actually farm up the talents. So yeah. I'm sick and tired of always content creators, and also other players as well, always put the blame on the players. I'm so sick. I'm so sick of it because if that were the case, then not all these gacha games this phenomenon will appear. But only ZZ people actually complain about the game content currently. Not even necessary anymore. That tells you how bad ZZ is actually going with this direction. And non mi speak about the direction ZZ is going because it's absolute shit. Non vedo bene mi mention the fact that they are releasing another electric man DPS. Fuck! No! Like, you have a shit, like you have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elements, and you always do the fucking same combinations. Fuck off, ZZ team, fuck off. Instead of actually spending time going to your carpets, how about actually making some sensible decision for once? Oh, I'm gonna end this video here because it's not possible that a game that has so much potential gets squandered like that, both by the developers and other content creators. Enough is enough.